Welcome back. Drawing number 2 coming up in this episode. This one we're going to complete drawing number 1, talk about why we did that one, and then start in on the second drawing. Think you're going to love it. Very exciting. Lots to do. Let's So your first drawing completed should look a little something like this. The idea here was, if you recall, draw a box, draw what I referred to as a lazy S curve onto both of them, right? Not a tight one, but a lazy one, kind of a little bit, not quite, yeah. Okay, so then you were to produce the sharpest separation between light and dark that you could with your pencil and eraser, and then a soft version of that same idea. So if your drawing ended up looking a little bit something like this, you got it. Now if it didn't end up looking a little something like this, do me a favor, keep working on it until you get it to this point, and then we will move on. So those of you who have it to this point, now I want to talk about why. Why did we do this? Here we go. Let me make sure, double sure, that is nice in the shot. Yeah, I'm kind of in the way, but I'm going to move the camera and we're going to get a little closer to this drawing so you can take a closer look at it. As you take a look at this drawing, I want you to have a moment where you just look for soft edges. Here's your little reminder. Soft edges and sharp edges. Okay, so where do we have some sharp edges? We have sharp edges here where the bottle is making contact with this table. We have a sharp edge over here where the head of this poor unfortunate is just, let's move that just a little bit. There we go. Is just turning into the shadow right there, right? That's pretty sharp. We also have a fairly sharp line right down here at the bottom of the cork. Okay, so what do we have here? Of course, what we truly have is a bunch of lines and a bunch of tone on a piece of paper. Of course, the lines and the tone create an image that's recognizable as this poor fellow read something in this note over here. There it is. And after he read that note, he opened this bottle of XXX who knows what, took that cork out, and all of this dook 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 turned him into a rather sad looking individual, right? That's what it looks like, because that's what I intended it to be. Now this is purely out of my imagination, right? I didn't have a photograph, I wasn't looking at a guy, I just made this up because I work in one of those 3 different ways that we discussed. I either work with my imagination, I work from photo references, or I work from direct observation. Those are the 3 ways that I work, and I encourage you to work those 3 ways as well. So back to this drawing and soft versus sharp lines and tone. So here's back to the idea of why we want to do an exercise where we have sharp tones versus soft tones, or edges. What we're really talking about here are edges. And we're talking about sharp edges versus soft edges. And what do you think that helps create? Because all I really did was, back to the homework drawing again, sharp edge, soft edge. I did the same thing there to create space. The sharp edge has a kind of focus to it, doesn't it? And the soft edge, all this section back here, looks like it's slightly defocused and a little bit in the background. And if we look at the whole piece again, what we really have here is a series of soft edges, hard edges, areas of dense tone, areas of no tone at all, creating the illusion of an image. So that's why I had you do this. to start. I just want you to get into the habit of creating in a sketchbook or here on a 18 by 24 inch piece of drawing paper. I want you to get into the habit of practicing sharp edges versus soft edges. Because if you can master this, when you come to draw from your imagination or from a photograph or from direct observation, you'll be able to use these skills to create your version of this kind of work. Now, I don't expect you to draw some poor fellow who drank this, because he got a note. It's just one drawing that I did. And you are going to use your own talent and your own ideas to create your own drawings. But this is a skill that you're going to use over and over and over again. So master this, and you can move on to stuff like this. So before we start this drawing, I want you to do me a favor. Pull up your phone or any device where you can get on the internet and type in grayscale. Grayscale. One word, grayscale. And when you have that and you're looking at it, what you will see is a lovely series of very delineated gradations from white to black. Some are 9 steps, some are 12 steps, doesn't matter. The point is, today for this drawing, here's what we're going to do. You're only going to work with 2 tones. The tone of your paper, which is probably pretty close to white, and the darkest tone you can make with your pencil, which isn't black, but it's dark. Okay, so what do we do with all of those other steps that are in between black and white on the grayscale? Here's what we're going to do. If it's a relatively light gray moving toward the middle, that becomes white. If it's a middle gray all the way to black, that becomes as black as we can make it with our graphite pencils. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to make an on, that's the black, or off, that's the paper, drawing of that barn. It's easy for me to get to that barn because it happens to be mine. Now, you might not have a barn. Probably you don't. And probably your neighbors don't have a barn either. But it doesn't matter. All you need is something that's really clearly lit. Meaning, if you're looking out into the world and it's a gray day and it's raining, probably do this assignment on another day. If you're inside your house or apartment and you're looking around and you've only got fluorescent lights overhead, probably grab a table lamp and direct the light onto some small objects. What I'm talking about is crisp shadow edges. That's what we want for this drawing assignment. So this is a beautiful sunny day. I'm outside in my backyard and I'm going to do a drawing of my barn. So as you can see, I'm working on 18 by 24 inch paper. If you're comfortable working this size, great. If you're not and you just want to work in a sketchbook, that's fine too. For this drawing assignment, I'm only going to be doing a drawing about this big, but I like using big sheets of paper in case I do a couple drawings on the same sheet. So I'm going to start this drawing and you're going to finish it. So again, here's the idea. In this episode, we're doing a drawing that is just purely white of the paper, dark of the pencil. So if I'm going to draw that barn over there, that one, I'm going to go ahead and take every single one of those shadows. Again, I'm just going to do it about this big. And I'm going to make them as dark as I can make it. Not going to finish it. You are. And then anything that's from the grayscale, as you recall, from the middle of the grayscale over to white, just leave it white. And from the middle of the grayscale over to black, make it as dark as you can make it with your graphite pencil. And also good for itching your ear if it gets a little itchy. So you're going to now go through and take all the shadows down to dark and leave all the lights light. If you make something dark and then you really needed to make it light, feel free to use your eraser to pull lights back out of the dark, right? Like those columns over there. No problem. use your eraser to make things lighter. So you go ahead and do the drawing, and then I will see you in the next episode where I'll show you my finished drawing and we can talk about yours, kind of, virtually, right? And we'll talk about why we did this particular episode in this way, and we'll get you set up on drawing number 3. Okay, have at it.